everybody. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, it's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. 7:04 a.m. Central Standard Time. Everybody listening to us on 107.3 FM here in the Baton Rouge capital city area. And everybody watching on our YouTube Live and Facebook Live, good morning. Glad to have you guys as we get the day going, getting the weekend going. Hey, it's about to be June, the last day of May. We're headed into the summer months. You can kind of tell with the weather, right? It's heating up. It's getting a little steamy outside. The kids are out of school. Got to see the kids in the neighborhood riding bikes, playing ball, going to the local pool. And then not only that, just the family trips this year, right? Hope everybody has had a great week. I had a pretty decent week, man, just taking it slow on my end. So other than that, man, be sure to go follow and like the Jaguar Journal on YouTube, on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It costs nothing. Be sure to subscribe. And for a lot of people out there, of course, you don't get a chance to catch the Jaguar Journal live from 7 to 9, which I do understand. It is early on a Saturday morning. That was one of the things of why we got this show started the way that we did with the YouTube and Facebook Live. It gave an opportunity to archive what we do here. And a lot of people never did really get a chance to catch the show live. I appreciate those who do. Set their reminders, or when you get that notification, you tune in immediately and you get a chance to watch those 2 hours. But some people, I understand it's Saturday. You've been getting up all week for work, getting the kids together for school. Saturday is your day. And I totally respect and understand it. It's rough on me on Saturday mornings, okay? I alter everything that I do on a Friday to make sure that I'm up to be able to get my mind wrapped around coming on here talking to you guys for 2 hours. And it basically feel like I'm talking to myself sometimes, and I'm just looking at a screen. And then luckily, you know, if you have guests, you can have some interaction. But it takes a lot to get your mind prepped to be ready to do a 2-hour radio show at 7 a.m. To be able to be in that mode to talk, answer questions, ask you guys questions. It takes a lot. So at the same time, I know it takes a lot for people that's out there who've had long weeks, getting up, and Saturday is your day to finally relax and chill. And I understand. So for the people who don't get a chance to catch this show live and you catch it on playback on our YouTube channel and our Facebook, man, it's nothing but love. Long as you're tuning in and you're listening, that's all that matters, you know. But for those who do listen, because once again, this show was initially a radio-based first show. Once we went off the airwaves, that was it. And you know what I would get? Somebody will see me somewhere around Southern walking on a game day and be like, man, I caught the last 15 minutes of the Jaguar. And I started to get that more and more and more. Man, what you guys talk about today, man? I caught the last 30 minutes. I missed the first hour. And it started to put me in a position to say, man, we have great shows, but at the same time, if people are missing it at 7 o'clock and you're getting up at about 8:30 and you're just now getting going and then you click the link and now you're ready to watch. I mean, you turn on the radio and you're ready to watch or listen. Well, you've missed the first hour and a half. So that became something that I had to put my mind to, that I was like, all right, how can I be doing something? But then if I'm doing it, I can't even share it with people to let them know because we're a live radio show. Once we're off the air, that's gone. You know, whatever it was is in the moment. So here we are now being able to have the YouTube channel, which is why I stress so much for people to go subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. Really do, because as we continue to grow, we want you guys to grow with us. I know this is new. There are people out there who've been listening to the Jaguar Journal for over 20 plus years. This is, I believe, if not the longest running continuous show of this kind in the state of Louisiana. There have been many people before me that have come and gone on this show. And now, you know, in my era, and I can remember, can y'all recall with me as I was transitioning, I had people who had been listening to the show for years. And Mike, you can recall, people will call in and say, I don't like the way he's doing things now. He done took the band music. We don't hear the band music no more. Or, I don't like this, or I'm not a fan of this. Can you go back to doing this? Can you? And I said, just bear with us. Everything in life has to evolve, and when it evolves, it takes change. And yes, if you're used to something kind of for 20-something years or near that, kind of being one way, and trust me, I've been around on this show long enough. I remember how it went. When I first started here, it was Reggie and I, and Carl Grodden was our producer. Reggie called him producer extraordinaire. And that was at the time we were across the hall in ESPN 104.5. Now, that was when I first got here. And I believe that show, if I'm not mistaken, was on Thursday evenings. It was either Tuesdays or Thursdays. I can't quite remember. But we had a slot on ESPN 104.5 from about 4 to 6. And the show had its own identity at that time, right? It was an identity before that I even got in the picture that it was what the show was known for. And at that, hey, you just take a back seat and you just enjoy the ride, young man. That was my approach, because this was all a learning experience for me. I didn't go to school for radio. I didn't go to school for communications, none of this stuff. I went to school for political science. Shake the hands and kiss the babies and teach some history. That was about it, you know. So I had to sit back and trust the process for years to watch how this thing go. But at the same time, anybody who knows me knows how my mind is always thinking and evolving. And how can we grow? What can we do to get better? And I'm looking around and I'm seeing what this entity is doing and that entity is doing and how they're making it work. And what is this and what is that? So when we were initially on 104.5 ESPN, the show had a whole nother identity, and it was not streamed on anything except live on the radio at that time. And that's when I got a lot of, for sure, hey, man, during that time when we had that time slot, it was a little bit better for us because that was a drive time slot. We were catching people leaving work, headed home, sitting in traffic. It was awesome for people to listen to us at that time. But, of course, the show had a different identity. It came in with the traditional Southern band songs, and it was this, and it was that. Then, you know, Some people got upset with us because on 104.5, of course, it's supposed to be sports, with it being ESPN radio. And of course, we talked about community. We brought people who worked in the community, politicians, community activists. We talked about things that sometimes went outside of the realm of sports, and being from 4 to 6, trust me, we're getting a lot of people who don't necessarily look like me who started to get upset with what we were doing and the conversations that we were having. Hey, I get it. Then we transitioned to 107.3 FM. Talk radio. They say, I believe this better fits you guys because you guys are kind of like all over the place, right? You do sports the vast majority of the time, but it's nothing for me to bring somebody from the university on to talk about what's happening on the university side. Nobody, I guess, wants to hear that on ESPN 104.5. I don't want to hear about the dang on chemistry department. I'm not here for a nursing department. I'm only here for the sports. And I understood. So our time slot moved to 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning on 107.3. So whatever base that we had on 104.5, we didn't even get a chance to transition that base saying, hey, we were moving. It just at a snap of a finger happening. So when we got on 107.3, we had to build a whole new base up from the ground up. Those who knew us, who had been following the show well before I was even here, some people transitioned. But once we got to this new station, which I say new station, I'm right across the hallway, literally. I can throw a pen and throw it right into 104.5 studio, where the old studio. They got some new stuff going on now. They won't let me in the new stuff. But then getting on this station, and I'm just giving you guys a walk down memory lane to realize to build something takes time, and that was the patience that I had to realize and wait my turn, which I think I did rightfully so. But then we had to get on 107.3 with a whole new audience of people at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning and say, hey, this is who we are. And hopefully the people who were on 104.5 that were listening to us transition, which I'm pretty sure we lost a lot of people in the mix, because you went from 4 to 6 drive time after work, after school, headed home, to 7 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm asleep. I'm not trying to get up and listen to the Jaguar Journal. I understand. I be asleep too. I understand. But then building it up, and then what I realized on here, because of course you guys know I'm a football official, even guys that officiate with me, a lot of people don't know me with my voice here, and I'm saying Perry White, they don't equate it to if they meet me. And then when they say, if I say Perry White, yeah, I do the Jaguar Journal, man, that's you in the morning. Man, I listen to you on Saturday mornings when I'm headed to work, or I'm headed here, or I'm doing things in the morning. Then it makes sense, because I'm not one that really tell people everything that I do. And I promote the Jaguar Journal for the show that it is. I don't promote Perry White for the Jaguar Journal. I'm not bigger than the show. The show is what it is. I'm just another individual to help continue to carry this vessel to wherever it needs to go. And I understand that. At no point do I act like I'm bigger than the Jaguar Journal. The focus is on you guys to give me what you think and how you feel out there in terms of Southern University and the SWAC and HBCUs, and for us to have honest conversations, and for us to be able to talk sports and whatever else. It's not nothing for Perry White. And I don't make the Jaguar Journal as though it is about Perry White. It has nothing to do with me. So even when you see me promoting it out there, I promote the Jaguar Journal, because I respect what this entity is and what it's been for 20 plus years. But it's my duty now as the captain of the ship, which once again, I said, I waited my turn. I sat back and I watched how this go for years. It was I remember the first time I got, it was Reggie and Reggie couldn't make it one show. And it was my first time doing the show by myself. And I had it in my mind, I was going to do this. And I showed up so unprepared. I bummed 2 hours. I'm talking about R.I.P. Carly. Carly at the time was one of our producers, of the many producers of over the years of this show. And she kind of helped nudge me along, like, let me talk to you, let me conversate as the show, but I completely bombed it. But hey, that's part of the process. Tell me a job you've ever worked and you didn't have a day in the beginning where you had to learn and somebody finally said, all right, I'm going to take the training wheels off, go ride. And you didn't fall and bruise and hurt yourself. And you learned your lesson. So then I had to start thinking that show within itself. I just had to look back. I said, man, I was disgusted at myself for that because I really bumped. And when you're live, there's no way to change this. This is live radio, people. As you're hearing my voice right now, there's nothing I can do if I mess up to say, hey, cut, let's do this again. Let's try this one more time. I got to be prepared to say things with my mind clear to be able to give this in real time. You know how hard that is? Especially with everybody listening. And I bummed it. So after that, I realized, you know what? This is more than just showing up and thinking you're going to talk on the radio, because it's just hard to find something to talk about for 2 hours when you're not prepared. You just find yourself out there. Just, I don't know where to go. And I challenge anybody, come on here with me. If you think this is easy, come on in here. Show up at 6:50 a.m. on a Saturday and come on in here with me for 2 hours and let's just run it. It ain't easy. But I had to learn in the process, right? That was part of it. Once again, I didn't go to school for this. I don't have any media background, so I had to figure it out on the fly and watch Reggie and watch everybody else around here, watch how they did things and how they grew. But in the same time, while I was sitting back playing my role, I had an idea of how I saw things to be in the future. I'm like, man, it's so what this show could be. It could be so much more than just this radio show. It could be so much more than just people catching this show live in Baton Rouge. This thing could be something where people nationally, because Southern has a reach beyond the 225 area code. This is the base because we're home. Southern is here. This is Jaguar land where I'm reporting from, right? But there are people that love Jaguar land and love Southern in these conversations that live outside of this area that in the past couldn't listen to this show at all. So we were a local show. And in my mind, the Jaguar Journal was much more than a local show. So as we move to 107.3 and transition, I'm just giving you guys a timeline, that's all, of this show and how we've grown, because it's taken a lot of hard work. And good morning to everybody that's out there. As we've grown this show, we transitioned from 105 ESPN. We came over to 107.3 FM. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday. From 4 to 6 drive time midweek. Building up a new audience of people, and then also people who were listening to this station already on 107.3 and was like, what is this new show? And what are they talking about? So as we continued to build, and then the keys were finally handed over to me, saying, all right, Perry, it's yours now. How do you envision this? And you can ask CJ and many others, including Mike, the many times I was meeting and trying to, paint this picture of social media and YouTube. Like, do you know what we can do with this thing? We can grow it out of the Baton Rouge market and make this something that's a global show, because that's the beauty of the internet. That's how you grow in your brand and your market, where we take the Jaguar Journal from just being this local show to now I get people checking in from Harlem, New York, St. Petersburg, Florida, Dallas. I have somebody right now saying checking in from Newport News, Virginia. Well, how am I going to get him there? Somebody, listen, Kevin Walker is saying live from Paris, France. He's listening to the Jaguar Journal right now as I talk to you guys in Paris, France. And I'm not making this up. Go to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel and go in the comment section and you'll see. Beforehand, none of these people, if you wasn't in Baton Rouge from 7 to 9 listening to me on Talk 107.3 FM, that was pretty much it. My man Chuck, he up there in Monroe. He don't miss a show. Man, you talking about support, Chuck, I appreciate that. And everybody in the comments, everybody who listen, man, I appreciate the support that you give this show, because once again, it ain't about Perry White. I never make it about myself. I am just the captain of the ship. Ships have many captains. It's just all about why I'm the captain, how I'm going to steer the ship. I'm going to make sure we don't hit no icebergs, okay? I'm going to make sure we don't run aground. I'm going to make sure it's smooth and that we continue to grow what we have in terms of a capacity to make it better for you guys out there and make it easier for you. Look, Mary 305 checking in from Miami. So do you see where I'm going with this? Although you hear me on 107.3, for those out there listening, our reach has grown beyond this. Miami, Paris, France right now. We're international. And that feels good because at the end of the day, it's like when you have a vision for something and you see that was why you had the vision, to be able to reach this thing out there, to be able to communicate, to be able to talk to people, to be able to bring people in. Got my man Thomas White. I know he's over in Houston. He's tuned in. So do you see the region, the area? We're going from Newport News, Virginia to Miami, Houston, Dallas, Paris, France. And they're tuned in this morning. And you know what? I appreciate you guys because I don't know what time it is over in Paris. Kevin, tell me in the comment section what time it is over there. It's 2:22 in the PM. So it's the perfect time to listen to the Jaguar Journal in French. Bonjour. All right. Comment ça va? Took 9 hours of French. But that's the whole point. That is the whole idea of what I just, every time in life, and that's the other thing, especially to an older generation, with a new generation come through the door. And I say this because one day I'm going to have to be in that position too. It can be one way, but as you begin to evolve with a new generation, be sure to open the door and let them prosper with their ideas and creativity. And don't cut it off and micromanage it as though because you've been doing it one way for so long that it has to be that way. Be sure to allow them to prosper and keep the morale up with young people when you do that. And I'm saying that whether it's at home, whether it's on your job, whatever the case may be. People come in with ideas, things change. Take a second to listen to those changes and those ideas, and don't hate on it because it ain't your idea. Don't push it to the side because you don't understand it, because we don't do it that way here. We've been doing it one way and we've been doing it that one way for this many years, and it's going to be that. Don't be like that. And that's why I got to thank CJ Guidry for being able to say, all right, let me get out the way and let Perry do it the way he sees fit. And because of that, that's where we at today. Where this show is international. People are listening all over across the world and the country. And to our listeners on 107.3 FM, you are our base because we are truly a radio show. But there was a vision for this show. Now, this show has grown bigger than what it's ever been. It's grown bigger than what it's ever been. It's no longer you sitting in the living room listening to the show with your grandpa on the radio. Because I know some of you guys grew up on it. I'm not being funny, but I am. Some people I do know say they've been listening to the Jaguar Journal long enough, with the grandparents or with the dad. My dad listened to the show when I was a kid, and so I grew up listening to the Jaguar Journal. Yeah, it ain't quite the same like it was back then. And every host of the show has their own way in terms of what they do. I'm vocal, but I believe that I'm fair. I don't come on here for clickbait. I don't come on here for Perry White. I come on here for you guys and for the school and for the stories and to talk about those stories. And if you notice, I'm not one about just throwing anything out there and hoping it sticks. But I do understand what this is, because if you catch me on other shows, I'm completely different. And when I say completely different, I'm a little bit more open. But this right here does not require for that. What your parents, the old folks used to say, there's a time and a place for everything. The Jaguar Journal radio show is a time and a place because it's certain rules I have to follow because they're being governed by radio stations and how I have to carry myself and what I have to say. But you get me on them YouTube shows, like when I'm with my boy Scotty on Off Script, it's a different story, but I understand what that is. This is news, that's entertainment. There's a difference in two worlds. This is news. See, look, somebody's checking in Greensboro, North Carolina. They keep rolling in. And in the comment section, if you listen, tell me where you're listening from. I'm shouting everybody out today because I want to know how far is the stretch of the Jaguar Journal these days. We got my man Kevin Walker over in Paris, France this morning. Mary says she's listening over in Miami. Good morning. Newport News, Virginia. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. I know I got Chuck up there in Monroe. I got my man Thomas over in Houston. Carla said listening in Washington, D.C. That's a beautiful thing. That's at the end of the day, man, y'all don't know how good that make me feel. Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas, they rolling in now. That makes me feel good. First of all, that lets me know you guys want to be engaged in what we have in terms of a discussion here, talk about the greater good of Southern University. And sometimes, listen, I'm not here to be 100% positive on the university or black colleges or the SWAC because there are stories that need to be talked about that sometimes are not positive, but it takes us to have constructive criticism and have real conversations amongst each other. This show is not controlled by the university by no way at all, which is why sometimes when I say things on here, it does upset people at the university. It does make people at the university go the opposite way from me. Give me a side eye, but I'm like, you don't know who I am personally. You don't know me. And I don't know you. That's why I don't talk about you personally. I talk about the jobs because the jobs are evaluated by the people. Who are the people? We are the people, the alums, the ones who, when we go somewhere, we wear that blue and gold proudly across our chest that says Southern University. And we make sure we tell everybody as we brag about, where'd you go to school? I went to Southern University. So when I brag about that and then I look at Southern, I would love for the affairs of Southern University to be in order. That way, as I'm bragging, it ain't like, well, I heard y'all doing this. Like, dang. Because, you know, them other schools can't wait to say something about you. Jackson State. They can't wait to tell you and put you down, right? But I got nothing but love for everybody. Aside from the rivalries, which, look, that's the sports side. At the end of the day, aside from that, we all the same people fighting the same fight, trying to accomplish the same things. That's being successful in life and making sure the future of our families are better tomorrow than they are today. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what we're going to do. That's why these institutions were founded, to give us these opportunities. And I'll leave this before I get ready to go to break. I always say my loyalty lies within the institution and not the individual. The individual will come and go, but the institution will live on forever after we've gone. Think about how many people that came and walked in and out of those doors of those different buildings at Southern. How many administrators and how many presidents and how many chancellors and how many deans and how many teachers and how many students. Why would I have an individual loyalty when the institution going to be that way after the individual is gone? So when I speak about Southern, and sometimes I speak about situations where individuals feel like it's direct, it ain't directed to you. You just so happen to be in that position. And because you in that position, it's being evaluated by the people. This just so happened to be the radio show where the people evaluate you publicly. So it's nothing never personal. It's strictly business. And I got nothing but love for you. You'll never hear me talk about anything personal about what people doing in their personal life. I'm only going to talk about what you're doing that affects us all as our love for the institution. Let's get ready to take a break, everybody. Stay tuned. I'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a 5th-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a 5th-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with 4th-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast, and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch. Ricks on the 1st and 10. Little draw play. Takes it outside. He's got the first down.
But Ricks going to take it up the middle. On 2nd and goal and score the touchdown. Rise and it'll get cloudy again. And under the sun, Ricks on 2nd down and goal holds on to it for a 2nd touchdown run.
Get open to make play. So that's good ball distribution. That's also passing. They're going for some more, G.
And they do get it. Touchdown, Southern. 3rd and 22 to Tom. Ricks. Pretty ball. First down. Back like you said, Jay, after the penalty. The blitz. Ricks got hit. Got rid of it. Touchdown, Southern. The 6th annual SWAC championship. Southern trailing by 5. Passes complete over the middle to Amelie Jackson. Remember, it was 4th and 24, and they gave up the first. Over the middle. Wide open receiver again. 1st and 10.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there. I am Perry White. Good morning to all our listeners on our radio side around the Baton Rouge capital city area on 107.3 FM. And good morning to everybody out there listening on our Facebook Live and on our YouTube Live. Look, all over the world this morning. We got good morning from Dallas. Somebody checking in from Newport News, Virginia. How about Paris, France this morning? My man Kevin Walker over with the family. We got Mary checking in from Miami, Florida this morning. Look, they keep coming in. Atlanta this morning, Washington, D.C., the Dallas metro area. So, man, people are all over this morning. Good morning to everybody out there checking in from Mississippi as well. And so for those of you right here, not only in the Baton Rouge capital city area, but for everybody else who's listening to us, not only nationally, but internationally, good morning to you guys. What is going on about 3 o'clock over 3 p.m. in Paris, France. Very special guest this morning. Here on the Jaguar Journal, and glad to have you guys tuned in to listen. This young lady who is coming on, very talented. I'm pretty sure if you've seen her in some movies, and she's a graduate of Southern University, good friend of mine and a friend of you guys and a friend of the show. As you get a chance to meet her, want to welcome her to the Jaguar Journal. She's an actress, a writer, producer, Miss Samantha Smith. Good morning, Samantha. You got it turned up?
Hello.
Hey, Samantha, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
There we
How
go.
are you?
All right, listen. I'm in your realm now. Look, I'm trying to get in this acting, this producer, this writing, all of this. Now, hey, welcome to the radio show, the Jaguar Journal. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I was blessed to wake up another morning, so all is well.
Amen, sister. I always say, everybody, listen, I don't know if y'all have ever, I saw this video of Debbie Allen one time. She was sitting in the corner at this studio, and she had just sitting in the corner just watching everybody perform, and just looked like everybody was giving their all, and she had that big staff in her hand, and she hit it, and she said, again. That's how I always tell Samantha. That's how I always say, Samantha just sits back and she's going to watch everybody do their thing. And whether you go hard or not, she's going to tell you to do it again because practice makes perfect in order to get to some perfection. So she has that mentality to me where she sits back. She's going to watch it and she's going to tell you again. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Samantha?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, as we talked this morning, something amazing is happening here in Baton Rouge coming up within the next week. And it's something that you're going to be doing for the kids of the community. You're going to be hosting a kids acting camp right here in Baton Rouge, bringing Hollywood to the city, to the 225. Let's talk about that and what that means for you being able to reach back into the community and help these young people start their acting careers, because your acting career started as a young actress.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so this has been a lifelong, well, I'll say it's a seed that was planted a very long time ago when I did start acting professionally. I would live in New York over the summers, and my parents, either my mom would stay with me over the summers or my dad. But one specific summer, I remember I was auditioning a lot, and I had already secured my first national commercial. I had already gotten my first feature film. And so at that age and with that level of understanding, I felt like if I were to, go to someone who was already established, then they should just be willing to help me because I've already done some things, right? But you learn very quickly that a lot of this industry is about the journey. And I kind of had a chip on my shoulder because as I would seek mentorship from people as a young girl, I wouldn't be successful in finding it. And so, and my mom, I didn't come from a family where anybody had been in this industry or had explored any really path that was untraditional. Most people are attorneys or educators or doctors in my family. And so it was a lot of figuring this out once had already been established that it was what I loved to do and what I wanted to do. And I was thankful that my parents saw it fit to continue to foster and cultivate that desire and love and passion for me. So I remember one specific summer telling my mom, whenever I get to the point where I'm able to reach back and help somebody, I'm going to do it. And in that child's mind, when I was saying that, I was seeing myself as this huge celebrity and doing so at that time. What I did not know was that God would allow me and position me to be able to do that even before arriving to the culmination of what my goals are in full maturity within my career. And so I've had a lot of experience. I'm still currently within my career and am nowhere near where I want to be quite yet. However, I've been allowed to experience the industry in front of the camera, throughout the audition process, throughout the navigating the industry, throughout going into certain rooms where I'm the only Black girl in that room or the only Black person in the room. I've been in spaces that, I believe that God has allowed me to see and blessed me to see, because it's a glimpse into what is to come. And so I felt, and it's something that I had been praying about, that it was time to start helping the next generation of storytellers. And that's how this came about. And it just, it's just something that I've always wanted to do. And I think that it was time to move on it. I have people come to me all the time, like, how do I get my child into acting? How do they need to be on TV. They need to be on film. And I have a short conversation with them. But even beyond having that short conversation, I wanted to be able to really expose the youth to this part of the arts and to just be a catalyst to help foster and cultivate their dreams, their goals, and the things that they love and maybe want to do, or even just have an inclination of an interest in doing.
For everybody out there, this is the voice of Samantha Smith, actress, writer, producer, Baton Rouge native, McKinley High School, right?
McKinley High. Go Panthers.
So she all about that 225 Wazam. You know what I'm saying? And she all
oh yeah.
She with it through and through. But let's talk about some of the films as you're talking about coming back. Listen, you were in Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. You were in Big Mama's House too. You were in Pitch Perfect too. Name some other stuff that you've been, projects and films and and major motion pictures that you've been a part of. And not only that, you are a Southern University graduate as well.
Yes, Django Unchained, Arachnoquake. Um, uh, it's so hard to recollect. Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, NCIS New Orleans. I led a Christmas film back in 2020 that was on the OWN network called First Christmas. Diminishing Value of Love, Cuba's Bad Qualities, both are on Amazon Prime. I have a show on BET right now called Perimeter, something coming out later this year on Netflix that I worked on last year. And yeah, the list, there's a list.
I'm so honored this morning, Miss Smith. You know, I'm just looking around like, God, dog, you know. Listen, and not only that, let's talk about this quickly for people out there. Give the information for if someone says, I have an up-and-coming child who's talented, I just want to see what they're capable of doing. What is the information for the upcoming acting camp for those students? And what is the age? And how can they get in touch? How do they sign up? What does it cost? Give us the information of that.
Absolutely. So actually everything can be found via Eventbrite, but the intensive is designed it's as an introductory intensive. So within that intensive, the students will be taking on or going through explorative exercises, which basically just break the ice and help us get past those barriers of nervousness or self-consciousness, really just get into the essence of the individual. We'll be going through and working on voice and body exercises. Our bodies are our instruments as actors. And so everything that we use is not just what we say, or it's not just a story that we're telling, but we use our bodies and our voices to also tell a story. So we'll be working on some voice and body exercises that bring into actualization and realization how those things influence storytelling. Also, they'll be working on peer-to-peer scene work. So working across from another person, I'll be giving out scripts. First, they won't receive them ahead of time. They'll receive them in class, and we'll be breaking those down and working through them. It's very hard to explain how that process goes in a short way. So I'll just leave it at peer-to-peer scene work. And then we'll be doing on-camera work. So though we will explore some stage elements, my focus is television and film. And so I'll be introducing the students to the fundamentals of acting for the screen. Is very different than working on stage. Working on stage, you're working to emote for the last person in the room. If you're in a big theater, on stage, the camera is right up on you. So with just that one illustration or just that one difference in detail, I'm sure you can imagine the difference in how your voice, your body, and emotion may be emoted through storytelling. So it'll be a fun-filled weekend. The kids will learn a lot. There will be a showcase at the wrap of the intensive. And the parents will also have some great takeaways as well. My mother, she did not know a lot. And so when I was starting out, and so she was really the learning as she went along. And so part of this is that I'm going to be providing some of the parent or all of the parents with some information that'll just help them be able to be comfortable in navigating if they want to look for an agent for their child, if they want to get their child, into the industry, just some very basic things that can help with that.
Everybody want to be a Gerber baby growing up. Look.
Yeah. I mean, guidance and education is huge in success, right? So you don't know what you don't know, and how can you be successful if you don't have the information necessary to be?
And for everybody out there, it's the beginning actors from the ages 6 to 12. It's going to be June 6th through the 7th at Celtic Studio here in Baton Rouge. Miss Samantha Smith will be there. Listen, extraordinary. You heard her name off the movie she's been a part of. She's a Southern University grad, McKinley through and through, Baton Rouge, Wazam. You hear me? And not only and not only that, your mother through and through is Southern University, a former dancing doll at Southern University. So when in about a minute, just give me quickly you guys' love for just Southern University.
Yes. Who, me?
You.
Oh, we absolutely love Southern. My whole family are graduates of Southern. When I was leaving high school and going into college, I was like, Mama, I'm not really interested in attending a college that does not, that I wanted to go to a performing arts college. It was way out of our budget.
Way too Juilliard.
And I was 17. I was 17 when I entered college. So my mom was very scared to, let go and let me fly. So she very clearly told me, ma'am, you going to Southern. And I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do after you get that degree, but you going to Southern University and you going to walk across that stage and get that degree.
That's it.
Yeah, my mom graduated, my grandparents graduated, all my, aunts and uncles and my grandmother's side are graduates of Southern. So we are Southern through and through.
And her mom is my spades partner. So listen.
Yes.
We looking for you, okay? She just say, hey, you set up the schedule. We're going to whoop everybody. So you tell your mama, hey, her teammates still waiting on her. So, Samantha, man, I appreciate you coming on this morning. And listen, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. It's the voice of Samantha Smith. She's a Southern University graduate, a Baton Rouge native, but most importantly, successful is what she's done in her career as a writer, producer, and an actress. She's hosting a acting camp for students on June 6th through the 7th at Celtic Studios for young people from 6 to 12. Look into it, get the information, sign them up if you think you have that next talented star or just someone that you want, a young person that needs to work on some things. Samantha Smith is the person for them to work on it with the amazing background that she has. I'm telling you, that's Debbie Allen sitting in the corner with that staff hitting the floor hard saying again. She going to make sure they right. Thank you, Samantha, for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Perry, for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right, let's get ready to take a break. We're at the top of the hour. You guys will be back. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch. Ricks on the 1st and 10. Little draw play. Takes it outside. He's got the first down.
But Ricks going to take it up the middle. On 2nd and goal and score the touchdown. If rise, and it'll get cloudy again. And under the sun, Ricks on 2nd down and goal holds on to it for a 2nd touchdown.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500 plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a 1st and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket. And his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5 yards. Levy on 3rd down. Looking down the sideline. Yes, sir. Big time player.
Guys stepping up like they're going to blitz. He really is going to start thinking.
Levy pump and go. Levy finds his receiver, Devin Lewis. Good experience, our receiver experience for Hines.
How great is it to have a quarterback coach? Tipped ball is caught by Hayes. Michael Hayes has the speed. Hayes to the 10. Touchdown.
2 poor passes today.
3rd and 4. Here is Guyen with the reception and the first down. Shakes one tackler. Still going inside the 30. Guyen to the 10. And dragged out of bounds. Down at the 15 for Southern. Terrence Levy wings it down the sideline for Hayes. Racehorse offense.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us, man. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody listening on the radio. on 107.3 Talk Radio, and everybody watching on our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live. Good to have you. As always, housekeeping rules. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so already. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, go hit the subscribe button, please. I'm saying please. And if you listen on 107.3 FM, and just go pick up your phone, cellular device. I know you got a YouTube app. Go to YouTube, type in the Jaguar Journal. You will see us. Hit the subscribe button as we continue to grow and grow and grow. We want you guys to grow with us, okay? And everybody else that's out there, aside from that, be sure to go like and follow us across social media. We're on X, we're on Instagram, as well as Facebook. And you can also catch the Jaguar Journal on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. We're all over the place now compared to, as you heard me in the first hour of the show, where we started at. Where we at now, everywhere. You cannot say you have not heard of the Jaguar Journal. But I have an honest conversation with y'all now that I said that. There are a lot of Southern people that don't know about the Jaguar Journal. I didn't realize that at first. But there are a ton of Southern people like, I've never heard of the Jaguar Journal. When do you guys come? When is that? And one of the biggest things where I've always wanted to help grow the show is, and this sometimes where I do have my issues with Southern. Y'all want to have a conversation with Perry? Let's have one at the top of the hour. 8:03 a.m. Central Standard Time to be exact. Good morning to everybody listening to us all across the world on our social media, YouTube, and everybody listening to us around the Baton Rouge capital city area on 107.3. This show highlights what alums, coaches, former players, whatever the case, programs. Think about it. We just had Miss Samantha Smith, an actress, producer, writer. She was in Django Unchained, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, Big Mama, and a graduate of Southern University, hosting an acting camp for children here in the community from right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I had Garrett Edgerton on last week, media extraordinaire, as well as the students on the week before, as they all came together to work on The Hidden Sport, which is Emmy Award winning. Coaches promoting the programs, pushing, saying, hey, if you need something, you let me know so I can tell the people. So the people can hear it and then come and help you, because the people don't know. And I tagged the school and athletics on everything. And my thing is, you can't never get a share. You can't never even get a like. And that's when I have my issues myself personally of what we're building here on the Jaguar Journal. Because, yes, I know the Jaguar Journal every Saturday isn't, praising Southern University. Some Saturdays we're having honest conversations about Southern. Because sometimes Southern does things to make us scratch our head and say, what the hell is going on? But other times, it's like we're promoting what you do there. We're promoting the stories of the school. And we can't get a share. And I make sure when we post this stuff, because not only do we do the live, we don't just do the lives, we do everything. We do segments. And it's like, I tagged the school, I tagged the Alumni Federation, I tagged the athletic department. That's one of the things that has bothered me, because it's like, and I guess because we're not a school entity, they like, hey, you on your own, you not ours, so you get it how you live. But I don't treat this show like that to Southern. That part kind of bothers me. And I have my issues with that, where it's like we can't support each other, but I make sure I come on here to support them. We got a caller. Who we got? All right, let's go to Chuck. Good morning, Chuck. Man, how you doing?
Good morning to everyone, and good morning to you, Brother White and Brother Patel. Yes, I was calling you, and that was great guest you have on there, and it's something you talk about. Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Yeah, it was him west of me in Mendon, Louisiana, home of HBCU Athletic Conference Commissioner Dr. Kiki Baker Barnes. and that's where it was filmed in Minden. And also you were talking about that documentary about Southern University's marching band. It was talked about on the news up here on KNOE TV, a CBS affiliate up here. They talked about that documentary, and Vernon Muhammad Jr. being from here, his father being on the city council, and made sure that all that information, made sure it got out there, the news about the documentary, and Vernon Sr. is a graduate of Southern as well. He will make sure it got out there, and we're proud of Vernon Jr. And also I'm gonna land on this one. Yeah, what you were talking about, it's great to have Jaguar Journal because you're not by. You're gonna talk about Southern, but you're gonna have other guests on. By the way, I'd already got in touch with Jerry Bell. That's a guy from Bethune-Cookman. He's Bethune-Cookman alum. He lives in Orlando, Florida. I told him about your show. He's the one that put the show during the football season, Hail Wildcats. I want to make sure you all get a chance to hook up there. I gave him the number to the show, but that's all I have for now. And but you all take care and have a great Saturday.
Man, appreciate you, Chuck, as always.
All right, you all take care. It's always great conversing with you. And I stayed up late. I'm tired of stayed up from this morning watching Ole Miss. Having lost a walk on. It was a walk off softball game in the Women's College World Series. They lost 6-5 to the University of Oregon. It was a great ball game, but that when those bases loaded and that walk, when they got that ball, and the young lady was just in tears. Leah Bedford had like pitcher. I'm gonna land on that one.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right.
Appreciate Chuck as always calling in, coming out of Monroe up there in North Louisiana, man. He's a avid supporter of the Jaguar Journal as always. We appreciate people like Chuck and many of you guys who are in the comment section all the time. I know a lot of people don't call in. And if you want to call in and talk to me, 225-499-1073 is the number. If you do want to call in, a lot of people shy away. They don't want to. I don't want nobody to hear me say nothing about Southern. We ain't got nothing to say nothing about Southern. You just talk to Perry. Okay? I have a conversation with you. 225-499-1073 is the number. If you indeed want to call in to the Jaguar Journal, shout out somebody. Just tell me your love for Southern. I don't care what it is, man. That's what this show is for. It's for you guys. It ain't for me. It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm just here as the captain of the ship to be able to make sure it's pleasant for you guys. But I will say that's where I've been having, I guess, problems with the university in athletics. And I'm not saying they have to acknowledge us. No, because I'm not going to sit around waiting, knocking at the door and just, who sits at a door and just keep knocking at it and nobody never answers and you just sit there and keep knocking? Who calls the phone and it goes to voicemail and you just keep calling and calling and calling? No. You knock on the door. If they don't answer, you may leave a letter. Hey, came by to see you today. Just, if you call that phone and go to voicemail, you leave a voice message. Hey, just call to check on you, see how you doing. Give me a call back. That's kind of how it is when I tag the school, and it doesn't matter. The social link is on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. And it's like they treat you like you don't exist. Now, I don't know what that is. And I do understand there were, and let's have a conversation. The Jaguar Journal has not always been welcomed by Southern University. There were other captains of this ship before Perry White who led this ship in a direction at the time that they wanted to go in, and it was not so friendly towards the university. I wasn't around during those days, but I have been told of the stories of those days. Me personally, I don't know. I wasn't around. And there's nothing to go back that's archived for me to go back and watch it to tell you about it. You can go back and watch anything I've done on here since we've been archiving things via our YouTube channel and via our Facebook Live. So there was a lot of cleaning up to do for Perry White over the years of being able to say, hey, this is a safe space for the coaches. I'm not finna bring you on here and dog you. Because, I mean, come on now. Chris out there somewhere. Eric Dooley even came on the show, and you already know what that conversation was like. And Eric Dooley, I have nothing against you personally, man. Eric Dooley, all right guy to me personally. It was just, come on. We judge by wins and losses at Southern and who we win and who we lose to. Ask Stump Mitchell. Great guy. Great guy. But we can't be losing the Valley on the Thursday night, 6-0, not being able to pass the 50-yard line. That's the reality of it. And people going to talk. And I knew it was real when I left out of that stadium that night. And Eric Dooley had just lost the game. And it was these two, I'm talking about black queens, most elegant grandmothers, just they the ones tell you, sit down. Look like they still got the plastic on the couch in the house. I mean, they step out nice. Look, and I heard them cussing like sailors about that, man. Because most of those women at that age, they say, don't have a filthy mouth. Ooh, don't you talk like that around me. They was talking like that around me. So I knew it was real when they broke the character and the real came out. That's pertaining towards Eric Dooley. So what do you expect if I'm walking by here and people talking like that? What do you expect for me to do when I come on the Jaguar Journal? Ignore that and say, we played a good game, but we just came up short? Is that the picture you want me to paint? That ain't the picture, though. I'm for the people. I'm real. I'm going to tell it to you like it is. I'm not here to be like, we played hard. They just made some mistakes, man. Just one more down, just one more completion. I got to come on here and talk to you real because I'm amongst the people. I ain't in the skybox amongst the elite. Now, we'll go up there. But I'm not away from the people to hear the people and be with the people and see and listen to what the people have to say. I'm not amongst the elite group that where within them, they say what they gonna say, but they not listening to the people. I'm down with the people. I'm in the tailgates. I'm rolling with my man, Mr. Ed. Shout out, Mr. Ed, and the whole group over there. I've been tailgating with them for years now. It's tradition. And we're going to listen to our blues. We're going to eat our fish and chicken and have our drinks all day. Mr. Ed would be out there 5 a.m. If it was a game today, he would have been out there 4 a.m. Got my spot, brother. We ready to roll. Where you been at? You're late. And I'm showing up at 9:30. He told me I'm late. But I'm amongst the people. That's what make me real. I am the people. Check it. We got a call. Somebody calling in. I'm amongst the people. I love the people. So when I'm amongst the people, I'm listening to the people. I cannot ignore the people because the people are talking, and whether they talking directly to me or I hear them talking amongst each other, it's the chatter. And when I hear the chatter, I'm like, you know what? I got to talk about this because the folks feeling some type of way. And it doesn't matter about a coach. It can be anything. Who we got? Mr. Chris. Let's go to the phone. Oh, that's Chris. Is this the Chris? Mr. Chris, good morning.
What's up, Perry? How you doing,
man? Have I talked to you in 2020? Happy New Year.
No, man. You didn't talk to me since then. As a matter of fact, you say the only time I call in is to talk football. Well, a man got to know his limitations to stay in his lane. But, what you're saying, Perry, is you coming along behind guys like myself as far as school and how you say that, you're going to be critical because you listen to the people. You're serving to the people in that aspect. And what we experienced in here and what's the frustrating part with most of us is talking to a fellow Jaguar, we got a total lack of vision. We got a total lack of vision. We're not taking advantage of opportunities that could present themselves to us. And then, it's not my job to know what we should do. That's why people get paid the money. But, just even from an athletic standpoint, a lot of the things that we seem to be doing, it don't seem like we got a lot of vision going on. If we get a coach of any sport and what have you, and hope that they be great, hope that they produce. But, I just look at the lack of vision from a standpoint of trying to go off of the brand that is Southern University. I think we are lowering our expectations to try to be like everybody else. And I just think it's just really a total lack of vision we're dealing with. when you think about the Commissioner's Cup and how many we won when they first started having that, and for us to not even be in the running hardly for anything, something is seriously wrong. When you have a fan base like we have, passionate about everything, obviously football is king, but if you produce winners and everything else, then that will also follow. But I just think when you have a brand like we have, we can't really compare ourselves to nobody else. You know how we do it in HBCU. We think our school is the best and all of this, but we need vision. That's the way I see it. We need vision.
I'll look at it. Vark said we finished third in the Commissioner Cup race. And Vark, I mean, that's once again making it sound good. Chris simply saying we want to win it. Third ain't good enough for Southern.
Right.
That's what Chris saying. So that's once again, when you be critical of the university, it's like, well, we finished third. Are we selling for that? I quoted Nelly earlier this week on the show. I'm number one. 2 ain't a winner, and 3 don't nobody remember. That's what Nelly said. That's
exactly.
Nobody remembers third. Nobody remembers second. They only remember first. They remember the champion. And we have expectations for Southern to be its best in all aspects, not just when it comes to athletics and sports, but to the institution. And I think from the outside looking in, for a lot of schools that are around, they look at Southern and they say, man, the day Southern ever figured out, it'll be a problem for us. I think everybody takes a sigh of relief to realize we ain't even begin to scratch the surface of what we could be. And they like, man, I just know and we see it and we know it. And that's how I feel today with a fan base and alumni and how strong we are. The day that we ever figure it out and decide to do things the right way that seem to make sense, because sometimes it's things that happen, I'm just like, damn, that don't even make sense for it to be that many educated people with JDs, PhDs, and whatever else come behind their names of these titles that people love to flaunt in front of me. And the money, well, I got money and I am this, but what a common sense half the time when it comes to decision making. But when we say that, it takes it as a personal attack. No personal attack. Remember, it ain't personal. We're just looking at how the business is being done. And when we're looking at it, it's like, I know it could have been a better way. I know they paying somebody good money over there to come up with the ideas of a vision to be able to take us further. But yet I'm not getting paid it, and I can sit here and come up with visions with you and have that conversation. So, you know, I say this to everybody. We just have high expectations, as everyone should, for your community, for the school that you graduated from, for everything. We should have high expectations for us as people. Anything less than that is failure. That's what makes us great, not only as people, but in particular, Black people. That's how we've been able to overcome so much in this country when everything was roadblocks. I just said knocking on the door and you keep knocking and don't nobody let you in. Calling the phone and you keep calling and don't nobody answer. You got to find a way. That's what we have been doing to be resilient in this country. That's why we have HBCUs. So don't be mad because the outsiders aren't the insiders in these exclusive groups with millions of dollars or whatever money that you feel I have to be important. Why can't I just be the common man and be important? Because I have a love for Southern University. I have its best interests at heart, and I want to see it be successful. And I don't want to settle for third place, Vark. I want to settle for first place. And I know if we put forward our best effort, first place is very much attainable. But the rest of the SWAC look at us, Chris, and says, just thank God they ain't figured it out yet, and they keep doing what they do.
Exactly. And here's the thing that's always bothered me. I don't understand for the life of me how you spent 4 years at Southern and don't have a love and the passion to do the best you can. I don't understand the mindset when you were in leadership positions as a student, and now opportunity has presented itself for you to actually do something. And you don't have that same love that you had when you were walking over the ravine, when you were walking to the cafeteria, when you were going to the gym, and all of these different things. and the love and the teachers and the compassion that you had for you, the situations that they got you out of that you had been somewhere else, you probably wouldn't even been able to stay in school, and the compassion that they showed. And I don't understand how when you get in a position to really do something about it, and and all I think about is Dr. Spike. I think about Dr. Spikes. Dr. Spikes was that type of leader. Dr. Spikes was that type of person and individual that loved that university. And Dr. Spikes left because she just got tired of fighting because their best interest wasn't in for the university. And I just don't understand that.
I think a lot of times what's happening today, and the stories that I hear from back in the day, right? Let's talk about the eras. So, and I would say back in the day, the compassion was about the people and about the institution. I think somewhere in between, because Southern has always had its elites, right? Southern is basically the playground for the black elites of Louisiana. Southern has had its elites that have run it, right? There's no doubt about it. There's a group of people through time that come in and out of Southern and have their era where they run things. And they walk around the campus high and mighty, and their families are around, and you see them in the press box, and they all at the, in different generations, there are those who are the elites that run the institution. But for the leaders of the institution, from what I've heard in the past, was the compassion and the care that they had for not only the students, but the alums, which ultimately created the love that we have, that when we call it Southern University, we say it with pride and with our chest poked out. There's a reason that comes with it, because trust me, I go around to other schools, they don't have that same pride. They don't have their chest poked out the same way that we do for Southern. And we'll put Southern up against any and everybody with no problem letting you know about Southern and our alums and our rich history. Listening to the stories of the Clarks and how many others where they took the time with the students to make sure the student was prepared, where they made sure the university was in the best position and took care of the best situation to make sure that the future of the university was going to be there. But then somewhere down the line, as my mom say, some people got a couple more pair of drawers than other folks. Some people started to get a little bit more money. Some people started to like the power. Some people began to love the be able to be in the limelight, that it's about me. And then in that process, it goes beyond the institution and it goes to the individual. And when it gets to the individual, it becomes personal agendas. And when you get personal agendas, then everything else is out the window, because now it's about me. And then that's why you feel some type of way when somebody is constructively criticizing the university, because it's your agenda. It ain't necessarily the agenda of what we feel the better good of the school. Check the phone line. We got somebody on the other call. But we realize that in the process, and that's why they say a hit dog holler, you feel some type of way because you think it's directed to you, but in actuality, it's not. We're just talking about the best of what it could be for the university. And the issue is, we talk about the university. If you happen to be in that position at the time while we're talking about the university, then that's just where we at. Somebody has to take responsibility. If you're in that position, you're going to be held responsible. But I want the best for the school.
And the thing of it is it's just like the relationships that you have. I'll give you case in point. I can see people, Perry, that I went to school with at Southern. Didn't know them, didn't get to really be with them, but I can remember them. Had a FedEx guy show up to my house, delivering a package. And I looked at him. Now, this 30, 35, 40 years later. And I looked at him. I said, "You in the band at Southern, wasn't you?" He said, "Yeah, man, I was in the band." I said, "I remember." I didn't know him. But that's the type of situation that you have and the memories you have. Now, obviously, I came up in a different area. It wasn't social media. Didn't nobody hardly have cars. Everything was on campus. So you had to have a certain bond or what have you, and a certain closeness that we had. But the thing of it is, the people out of my generation that's placed themselves in a lot of these positions, they need to have that same burning desire. You know what scares me, Perry?
What's that?
And I know that it's an anomaly what happened at Jackson State, but you know what really scares me? If Dion or somebody had wanted to come to Southern, I personally don't believe that they would have been allowed to do what Ashley Robinson allowed Dion to do at Jackson State.
No, I with you because I feel like it comes down to a control thing. We can't let nobody come in that's bigger than me.
Exactly. And see, the thing of it is that regardless of the fallout, regardless of what, but Deion resurrected Jackson State, and I'm not talking about just from the football program. We understand that, but the overall, because look at how TC has continued to go on, piggybacking off of the efforts that he put in. He got rid of the whole he got a whole new team, but what he did was put them on the map from a standpoint of the notoriety that they received. And so, when I look at us, I don't believe that we would have, we have opportunities all the time. Hit this. I mean, for instance, Perry, just like our scoreboard. We got in on that deal almost 30 years ago. And I mean, we shouldn't have a scoreboard like we got. How you got a scoreboard like that? I just don't understand it. You got all this other stuff. I like the lighting show. The lighting show is outstanding at the game. But I'm just saying, I just don't see a lot of vision. That's my issue. I just don't see no vision.
Appreciate
and you. Can't say, well, Chris, what would you do? Chris not getting paid to do it.
That's right. Somebody getting paid good money and getting raises at board meetings too.
Somebody getting. When I look, and I won't call names, but when I look at people in high position, I'm talking about personally. I'm talking about watching football practice and talking to them. Hey, man, I don't care what they do. I ain't going nowhere. I done put my time in. In other words, I'm just collecting the check until I can retire.
And I think at the end of the day, we all can agree we just want the best for the school, and we just realize opportunities missed and good people get ran away where it's like, you mean to tell me we had those people around here and we didn't take advantage because you don't want to pay them? You think one thing I know about some black folks, they don't want you to be bigger than them.
Well, it started. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. You probably have heard it. And I mean, God rest his soul. But in 92, when Doug Williams wanted to be head coach here, and obviously he didn't get it. Now you had some Southern, that Southern Grambling thing run deep in some people. Now I'm from up north Louisiana and got family members that went to Grambling. I grew up at Grambling. I grew up going to the games as a kid at Grambling. Grambling was all I knew. I watched the Eddie Robinson show every Sunday morning. But what Doug would have done for us back then would have been a lot of the same thing, not from a media standpoint, obviously, but from getting good players and everything like that. And he didn't get the job. And the biggest reason he didn't get the job is because he couldn't be bigger than certain people. His notoriety, his name was going to make him too big. And we looked out at the opportunity and missed out on the opportunity way back then. And then a lot of people want to say this and say that, but I'm just talking about the opportunities that we need to take advantage of. So like Jaguar Journal, I've been listening to it since its inception. And regardless to what go on, regardless of that, when I ever do see CJ, he always remind me how they've never embraced the show as a platform for the university itself.
Still to this day.
Oh, I already know. And now whether it's something against him personally or whatever, because one thing about it, CJ is going to speak his mind, and CJ doesn't sell any wolf tickets. And, a lot of different things, but his heart is in the right place. You got to look at a person's heart. And based upon a lot of stuff that he's done for the churches and stuff around here, the opportunities he presented to them, I know his heart is in the right place. Is everybody perfect? Does everybody do everything right the right way? No. But to totally not try to find a way to catapult the university in some kind of capacity, it make sense.
That's right. Thank you, Chris, for the call, man. I got to get ready to take a break. As always, I'm glad I pulled you out without having to talk about football.
Exactly. I got a little something to have.
Appreciate you, Chris, man. And as always, man, you've been rocking and rolling with this show a long time, well before Perry White, man. I appreciate you still being here supporting the Jaguar Journal.
You got it.
All right, let's get ready to take a break, guys. We got a call on the line. We're going to wait. Caller, you stay on the line. When we come out of break, I'll come back to you, all right? I got to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
And they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
Really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch. Ricks on the 1st and 10. Little draw play. Takes it outside. He's got the 1st down.
But Ricks going to take it up the middle. On 2nd and goal and score the touchdown. Rise, and it'll get cloudy again. And under the sun, Ricks on 2nd down and goal holds on to it for a 2nd touchdown run.
Get open and make plays. So that's good ball distribution. That's also passing. They're going for some more, G.
And they do get it. Touchdown, Southern. 3rd and 22 to come. Ricks. Pretty ball. 1st down. Back like you said, Jay, after the penalty. The blitz. Ricks got hit. Got rid of it. Touchdown.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
Hey everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area, listening to everybody on our YouTube and Facebook Live, listening to us both nationally and internationally. Let's go to the phone lines. We got CJ on the line. Good morning, CJ. Thank you for holding, man. I had to take a double break there with Chris with that conversation.
Well, thank you, Perry, for coming on this morning and bringing everything down the way you're doing. Chris is an icon. He's a standalone by himself, but he speaks the truth. He speaks from the heart. And there's a lot of people just like Chris would like to do what he does. They just don't have the talent on some things as the way he presents himself, and that's a compliment to him. But Perry, look, he's right. We don't have no vision, and we haven't taken a stand on some things that we should have took 5 years ago. I'm going to give you one example. The Jaguar Journal is the longest standing radio show in radio right now. Been going on for 26 years. In the 26-year history, CJ has put in about $700,000 to keep this show going. I asked Southern, could they put a sign, banner in the gym, the F.G. Clark Center, when they have basketball games, the football game, showing the support Jaguar Journal do. They refused. I did not stop giving the university $30,000 a year because of that, because I knew I was dealing with people that just did not have the vision. We at a crossroad right now. A lot of things is getting ready to happen at Southern from a building perspective. A lot of new facilities getting ready to be rebuilt. But we need to get our act together. We need some changes across the board right now that just has not produced. They have held the ground, but they just have not brought about the things that we feel as Jaguar should be at Southern. So I appreciate you coming on with the show, saying what you're saying, holding your ground. Yeah, it's a lot of things we can collaborate on with Southern, but they refuse to do it. Did not want to give a penny. They never have given a penny to this show, even though you done brought on the president, the athletic director, all the coaches and everything. I still can't get them to give us a penny. So I just want to say thank you for doing what you're doing. You're one of a kind as well. You got one of a kind show, and it shows. Our numbers represent itself. So just keep up the good work and appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. That was Mr. CJ Guidry, man. Appreciate him for everything that he does. And, and none of this is just like, today's a classic Jaguar Journal show, okay? Classic. Many out there say they sit on there and they talk bad about Southern Day. Many others will be like, you know what? That was something to think about today. Those are the people I want to have conversations with. That was something to think about today. I thought that same conversation was that way last week with Garrett Edgerton here on the show, considering he and those students won an Emmy and what that meant for the school. I'm covering the Baton Rouge Regional this weekend with LSU, Dallas Baptist, University of Arkansas, Little Rock, Rhode Island. I'm in the press conference last night with Jay Johnson. Members of the media who know me from covering both Southern and LSU back and forward talked to me and said, man, that Emmy is amazing. They understand what that is that Southern has won and said, bro, do you know how that is amazing? And nothing had nothing to do with anything at Southern where I was at last night. But I thought that conversation last week to have with Garrett, and I thought the conversation with the students was eye-opening, because what we have done here is giving you from different perspectives. So you can't sit there and say, man, this is just Perry saying that. It's just CJ saying that. It's just Chris saying that. No. I had a studio full of students who did the work and told you what they would like to see better from the institution that still they love, but at the end of the day, didn't give much to help them produce to win an Emmy, but yet the university is getting all the love for the Emmy. Because everybody's saying Southern University. Southern University. They're not calling those students out individual. They're saying Southern University students. I'm just bringing awareness, man. The people who I don't want to talk to after hearing all this, they take it as slight. They side-eye and they saying he just on there bashing. Why? Why would you say that? Because it's not what you want to hear, and it may threaten your position because clearly you may not be doing the best that's needed in terms of the job criteria for your position. And that's something that us as the masses are calling out and speaking about. But I went over to Crosstown in a room full of people who didn't look like me, understood how big an Emmy was, and made sure they expressed that to me. Just take a second to think about that. It goes further than just sharing and liking a post and saying congratulations. The same way I look at athletics, it goes beyond just winning a championship. If I'm a coach and I win a championship and I come back the next year, I'm still dealing with the same problems and more. Shouldn't somebody be working to help alleviate the previous problems that I had the year before so I can be able to move forward? Because I won a championship with less. So shouldn't somebody be trying to help me with more? If I'm the school and I have a department that I know is maybe underfunded, don't have this, don't have that, but we just brought home an Emmy with students who had a lack of resources, should I then begin to bring in those students and the people who made that happen and say, what's your vision that you think can help us make this happen? To do this again, to use this as a recruiting tool. And then once you give me the vision, it's my job, if I'm getting paid the money, if I'm on the board, if I'm the dean, if I'm this, I'm that, in those positions, to go out and say, let me go see what I can do. I got to go knock on doors and make phone calls, because I have to then make sure that this just don't become a moment, that this is something that we're known for here. Because quiet as it's kept, most folks don't realize how big an Emmy is. Quiet as it's kept, most people just okay with winning a championship and come back and do it again, coach, but you ain't did nothing to help that coach alleviate any problems from the previous year. And it's just all about the greater betterment of the school. But at no point is anybody bashing. We're just having honest conversation. That's healthy. It's productive. And the call lines are always open if you think any other different. This is an opinionated show. This is my opinion. It's the opinions of those that call. 225-499-1073. It's opinionated. That's what it says when it comes on. Opinionated. Outspoken. The Jaguar Journal. That's what it says. Don't mean I don't love Southern. Man, come on. Anybody know? I got on Southern paraphernalia, right? Man, come on. So you don't think I love Southern? I'm not saying somebody said, but somebody out there after hearing all this would be like, he don't love Southern. I love my institution enough to call it out. I love my institution enough to want better for it. And I love my institution enough to stand 10 toes down about it. Because once again, I don't care about the individual, man. I care about the institution. Many gonna come and go. Their institution is gonna be there. There's many people that are in a grave right now that were a part of Southern. They're dead and gone. The school is still here. I'm supposed to love them. Then when they die and be gone, my love leaves the school and I leave it at that. That ain't how it worked for me. It may work like that for some people. It don't work like that for me. I keep going. People get hired and fired every day. People move on every day. When they leave, that ain't going to stop how I feel towards the school, whether it's a coach, an administrator, a board member. I don't care. I just want to work with you to see the vision, to have a vision. You know, what does our future look like? We just sit stagnant. For the most of us that look at it, some of us are futuristic thinkers. Some of us are creative minds. Some of us see things the way the world looks differently. I was talking to a guy I do some work with. He graduated in mathematics. He said, Perry, I see the world in numbers. That's just how I see it. When everybody else sees certain, I just see everything in numbers. That's how I view the world. So when I go about doing things, that's how I go about it in numbers. I see the world in the creative aspect. The way I see the world, I'm always looking at, well, if this is what we're doing, I'm sure somebody has already done it and leveled up and doing it another way. I want to learn on how they're doing it because I'm trying to keep up with the latest. I don't want to be behind when it comes to we just getting there. And they call that being beyond your time. I've been beyond my time at many points around Southern University. And I do understand it ruffles feathers of people who don't understand it. And I do understand it ruffles feathers of people who say, well, that's your idea. It ain't my idea. So no. Because once again, it ain't for the greater good of the institution. I'm looking for the greater good of me. Well, it's about you. Then I got to respectfully decline and back up because I can't put my allegiance into you. The moment something go wrong with you, it go wrong with me. But why can't we do it for the greater good of the school, getting the right people in position and places for the school instead of the individual? I don't want to be loyal to the individual. I want to be loyal to the institution. And if the institution have an issue, then I speak of it. What's wrong with that? I'm going to speak on it. That's my duty as an alum. Isn't that what you say? You want me to pay alumni dues? You want me to go to the alumni national conferences? You want me to go to the leadership conferences? And guess who's been to all of them? Perry White. I've been to every campus in the Southern University system. I've attended the Southern University National Alumni Conferences and the leadership conferences. I'm not just talking about this. I've been about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm been about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And when I go to a lot of these things, you know, I see the same group of people doing the same things, and I hardly ever see anybody young. Go to somebody calling the phone line. And that's my thing. Let's get the young. If we open this up and we do things the right way, we can involve young people instead of feeling like we're pushing them away because they don't understand us. We don't understand them. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, a love. Who got on the phone line? I don't have much time. But that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Come on, just put them on. It don't matter. Just go ahead and put them on. Yeah. Good morning. Who we got?
Well, Roger Cador here.
Oh! Coach Cador, what's up?
Not too much. The guy didn't know who I was. He said, who?
He's a young guy, Coach. Don't worry about it. Charge it to don't charge it to him and all. He's just a young guy, Coach.
He's okay.
He got to go Google you right quick. Google Roger Kadar. There you. He picking his phone up right now. Go Google Roger Kadar.
How you doing? You're doing good this morning. You got it going.
I appreciate it, Coach, man. What's up? What is the honor to have you calling in this morning?
Well, the topic is so good. And I'm big on about good stuff like that. And you're really trying to help the university. And it's typical with Gary Edgerton and those students winning an Emmy Award. And nobody says nothing about it. They don't even know how big it is. They got someone sitting on their fannies, not saying anything, not knowing this is good for the university. It's not about them. It's about the university.
And at the end of the day, that's all the message I'm trying to put out there, where let's not ignore it, because when I'm going places and the room looks different from us, Coach, they understand the value, and they're expressing that to me like, dude, that is huge. That is monumental. Like, what's next? What is going into it? And then it's like all we get stuck on, congratulations, share it. All right. And then next week, the week after, a month from now, this will be a thought of the past.
Or they want some political friend to win it. That ain't going to happen. Them people you put in there with a political appointees for friends ain't going to do it. They're not worthy of it. They're getting the job because of who they know, not what they can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so that's the problem. So that didn't happen. Gary Edgerton and those young people did a fantastic job and need to be commended, and the university need to step up.
And you know more than anybody what it's like to have to deal, basically, like your book says, against all odds, making it happen without the support.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it was a lot easier for me to do it than it's more difficult now. There are more obstacles now than when I did what I did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And young people give up because you can discourage them so much easier because they could go and do something else. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
You see, when I was doing, I had to grind it every day. It was a grind, and but I didn't look at it as a grind. I look at it as a challenge and had to make it happen.
Coach Kadar, man, I appreciate you calling in this morning. I wish I had more time with you, but we can probably set this something up next week, but I'm up against a break. I got to get ready to get out of here, man. But it is a pleasure. This is the voice of Coach Roger Kadar, College Baseball Hall of Fame SWAC. Look, I'm not even going to begin because you're going to get on me because you're going to say I left out something, but Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, College Baseball Hall of Fame. We're talking about SWAC Hall of Fame. Like, there's so many more Hall of Fames than anybody else I know. And you can catch Roger Kadar and myself on Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Kadar on Pelican TV across the state of Louisiana, in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, as well as Lake Charles on Pelican TV. You can catch he and I on that show, man. So, Coach, appreciate you calling in this morning. It is a pleasure and an honor to have you to call in, a man of your stature and the fact of what you've done for Southern and what you built to be able to put that brand of Southern University out there that still resonate with people to this day when they talk about some Southern baseball.
Hey, it's a pleasure, CJ. I'm calling you CJ, Perry. I'm sorry. You're so much better than CJ. I don't care if he owns the radio show. He owns the show. I could say that about it. All right. Good talking with you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Man, great call right there. Look, I done pulled out Chris and Roger Kadar. This was a classic Jaguar Journal show today. Not a lot of guests. Want to thank Samantha Smith, who's hosting an acting course, acting school for students June 6th through the 7th at Celtic Studios here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for ages 6 to 12. She's a Southern University grad, Baton Rouge native. Be able to sign your kids up. She's been in many movies like Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, Django Unchained, Big Mama's House 2, many others. And then thank everybody that called in today. My man Chuck, my man Chris, my man CJ, and my man Hall of Famer Coach Roger Kadar. And for all of you guys out there, be sure to follow the Jaguar Journal on X, Instagram, as well as Facebook, and subscribe to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel. Glad to have you guys tuned in, and thank you to everybody out there listening on 107.3 FM, man. I'll be back next week, the same time, the same place. As always, it's the Jaguar Journal. Classic show today, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.